Imagine that your friend told you in 2005 that you would connect to the internet by a lamp.
Oh, this is nonsense.
Of course, all of us know the Wi-Fi that is currently being used by most places, and it works by transmitting radio waves to transfer data.
Now we are in 2022. You can imagine the amount of data that could be transferred: audio, photos, videos, files, IoT, and etc.
All of that leads to an increase in the load on network infrastructure. So, the firms started to apply temporary solutions, such as expanding the wireless network and upgrading it.
But these solutions still didn't solve the problems, and the current network can't keep up with this enormous amount of data.
So the only way is to use new means that weren't used before in transferring data.
But are there any other ways to transfer data besides the Wi-Fi?
Well, the answer is yes. We have alternatives. So lend us your attention and let's talk about it from the beginning.
In 2011, the professor of communications engineering at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, Hardhass, announced his invention, Li-Fi, which was rated as one of the best inventions in 2011 by Time magazine in America.
So, what is that Li-Fi?
The word Li-Fi is an abbreviation of light fidelity, which means relying on the light in which light is used in transferring the data, as an alternative to the radio waves used by Wi-Fi.
But it's not by any light. It must be emitted from LED lamp, and we will know why now.
The basic principle of this technique depends on the port of the spectrum of light, and specifically the frequencies.
Because the bandwidth of the light spectrum is 10,000 times greater than the bandwidth of the radio waves. This allows to transfer of huge amounts of data at greater speeds, and this source is lamps, specifically LED lamps.
The reason for that is the light of the LED lamp is not a normal light, but it's flickering at very high rates, and the normal eye cannot feel it. And this flicker does something called binary code. That consists of zeros and ones, and this is the original form of data on the computers. However, it doesn't make any radiation like the Wi-Fi does, because in the end it's just light.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to turn the internet on with a lamp? But does it mean that the light must be on all the time to use the internet?
The answer is yes and no, because to connect to the network, the lamp must be on, but you can easily reduce the lighting to the point that you don't notice it. And the data transfer process in this case will remain on, but the speed will be slower. Because the higher the lighting intensity, the faster the data transfer and vice versa.
Well, what is the difference between light waves and radio waves? What is the difference between the internet emanating from the LED lamp and the other emanating from the router? What is the difference between Li-Fi and Wi-Fi?
Okay, the difference is very large and there is more than a point of difference.
For example, one of the most things we care about when we subscribe to a new internet package is speed, and this is one of the best features of Li-Fi, as Li-Fi has a massive speed for transferring data, because its technology depends on light waves, and it's known that light wave frequency is 10,000 times larger than radio waves. That make Li-Fi faster than Wi-Fi about 100 times under normal circumstances. To imagine that, you could download 100 gigabyte files in a second.
Although Li-Fi is a very high technology and it will solve many problems and it will have a great demand, its prices will not be expensive because it doesn't need any wires, cable or establishing reinforcement stations. And the needed infrastructure for this technology is already established: electricity and LED lamps, and they are almost available everywhere.
Because we don't need any special lamps, all we need is merging a small chip inside it, a receiver and a sender, with a lamp to send and receive data. So all we need is to replace normal lamps with LED lamps, which include these chips. Also, these lamps are not highly priced compared to the normal ones.
Li-Fi technology doesn't clutter up navigation devices, medical equipment, or sensitive industrial devices, unlike communication technologies that depend on radio waves.
That's why Li-Fi technology, which is simply a light, can be used in hospitals, plants, sensitive industrial facilities like petrochemical plants, and other places where disasters may occur if radio waves reach them. For that, Li-Fi technology is one of the best options in cases like that.
Additionally, it is not disturbed by external influences. It means that sunlight and any source of light don't disturb the data transfer process.
Because every lamp has an electron chip for filtration to guarantee that data transmission process isn't affected by any external factors.
Accordingly, any other light sources don't affect the data transfer process.
Data transfer via Li-Fi is limited to the area that light reaches only. It means that it is never leaking out. Here, people's opinions differ.
The first group said that it is a disadvantage in this technology because in this case one lamp will not be enough, like one router, to distribute the internet over a whole apartment, for example.
The second group said that it has an advantage, which is safe, because it will not allow to hackers or anyone else to reach your devices or steal your data or share your network. Because unlike omnipresent radio waves, visible light is surrounded by four walls. There is no one can benefit from your network unless he is within the light range. Therefore, it can be present in security and military areas, for example.
Li-Fi technology solves other many problems, such as the spectra crisis. This problem is that the available places in the radio spectrum that we are using are very limited, and spectrum management became extremely difficult.
In addition to that, it will allow access to the internet in places where it didn't exist for various reasons, as we said. Because LED lights don't cause any interference or radiation pollution and can't be penetrated because it's just light.
Li-Fi can exist anywhere because we need light anytime and everywhere.
For home use, LED is a power energy saver compared to other things we use for the same purpose. And also, its price is cheap and its life is long.
And now let's look at the reality. Li-Fi is no longer just a project under experiment. It has been used actually in countries such as France, Belgium, and the United Arab Emirates. And soon it will be spread more and more to become existing in the whole world.
In the current era, we can say that technology is the best example of a double-edged sword.
There is no such thing as a good invention and a bad invention. We can only describe usage like that.
As any development can be used for good, the use for evil is always available.
All we have to do is choose the right path.
يعني اعمل ايه؟ اعمل الصح. ارجوك قول لي حاجه مفيده. باي باي يا كوتش.